Hey there, it is Rachel, and it is October as I am recording this. And what usually happens this time of year, every year, is that parents are telling me that the novelty of the school year is wearing off and you're starting to see more negative behavior. So maybe if your children are in distance learning, they're not going back to their classrooms after their break is over. Maybe they're rushing through their work or they're not turning in their work. And I know you don't want this to be something that lasts all year. So I'm going to give you 2 tips today for what you can do to start to shift things now. My first tip for you is instead of focusing on how you can change your child's behavior, focus on what is causing their behavior. So instead of asking yourself, what can I do to get them to do something different? Ask yourself, what is it that's preventing them from doing what they're supposed to do in the first place? What skill or tool might they be missing? Now, I will tell you that one of the skills and tools that almost every single child and adolescent is missing are what we call executive functioning skills. Now, executive functioning skills are very simply the skills that human beings have that allow us to get things done, do the things that we're supposed to do in a mature way. Almost every single child or adolescent has underdeveloped executive functioning skills. So these skills are things like starting a task, staying focused in a task, controlling your impulses so that you don't do something else when you're supposed to be doing something you don't feel like doing. Executive functioning skills also include organizing your space and your materials. So this is why so many students, so many kids, so many adolescents really struggle to get things done. And it's very important if you want to see change that you think about these skills and tools and help them with that. That's when you're going to see some change. Now, what if you have no idea what skills and tools are missing? That is my second tip for you. And that is if you see that your child is not doing something they're supposed to do, ask them, what makes it hard for you? What makes it hard for you to go back to your classroom? What makes it hard for you to stop rushing through homework? Now, very often you're going to hear a response like, well, it's boring. That's why I don't want to go back to my class. What that tells you is they actually need help figuring out how to pay attention when something is boring. Or maybe they tell you they rush through their homework because they're thinking of doing something else as they're trying to get their homework done. They need help then figuring out how do you get something else out of your mind when you're supposed to be focusing on homework. Those are executive functioning skills that very likely they are missing. Now, if you ask your child what makes it hard for you and they say, I don't know, don't worry about that. Because even just asking them what makes it hard for them is a change in the dynamic. Instead of yelling at them and complaining and threatening to take everything away, you're showing them that you're on their side. And that actually makes it more likely that they're going to think to themselves, what does make this hard for me? And come back to you and tell you. When you show them that you are on their side, they are much more likely to work with you to figure out what's causing their behavior. Because very honestly, they don't want to be struggling either. They don't want you to yell at them. They do want the help. So if you are realizing that your child may have some issues with executive functioning skills and you want to know what to do about it, I recommend that you listen to a recent podcast episode I did where I interviewed 2 experts who run an executive functioning center. In this episode, we talked about what you can do to help your kids compensate for some of these underdeveloped executive functioning skills. And they also give suggestions for how you can approach your children so they're less likely to resist you. So you can find that episode on my website, rachel-bailey.com/52, and you will find that podcast episode there. I will also be back again soon with more tips for you.